Harry faced the most terrible punishment from Charles after letting Meghan Markle rampant.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
For most of us, it is difficult to imagine how anybody, even worse, how any two people, could be so completely deaf to the effect of their actions. They seem not capable of any kind of logical thinking. Neither has shown any power of reasoning, and they definitely don't have any understanding of Newton's third law, action and reaction. It seems like Harry and Meghan believe that when something fails, they should just do more of it, and somehow that's going to improve everything. It's like Groundhog Day, really, but they don't learn anything from the mistakes they've already made. I don't know if Harry is being led by Meghan into being what he has become, or whether this evil person is the real Harry. Who knows? Many people agree that the Harry we see now is the Harry that has always been there, lurking in the shadows, covered up by his family and friends, because they knew the public wasn't ready for that. But Harry took on the patronage of Wellchild when he was still a young man, and a friend who was a director there at the time says that he was a natural just like his mother. He wasn't bothered by their disabilities. He would get down on the ground and he would talk to the kids, he would cuddle them, and he was really nice to the parents as well. And the charity was so happy they had him as their patron. And it is not easy to carry out actions like that unless they are genuine and spontaneous. His actions were instinctual, and they were natural. But we know he's always had a temper. We know that he has always had some bad behavior, and sometimes he has abused his polo ponies. But I, for one, find it difficult to believe that Chelsea would have stayed with him for as long as she did if he had ever shown her this side of his personality. Instead, I believe that Meghan has a lot to do with this transformation that we see. He's been given all these half-truths by her, and he has been brainwashed into doing her dirty work. It is a relationship where one has the ability to completely control the other person, and Meghan has always been an evil witch. Let's not forget, when he met Meghan, he wasn't in a good place. He was very lonely. He was almost always the spare. It was William and Catherine and Harry. His friends had all gotten married. He was the only one who was still single. Now, he would meet girls, which was even harder to do because he was in his 30s. But see, nobody could handle royal life, and he was getting desperate. Apparently, he used to watch Suits, and he would see Rachel Zane. Oh, he thought she's so sexy, she's so smart, she's sassy, and he was a fan of that character. So he told Eugenie and other people that she was his ideal, and they arranged the meeting. It wasn't difficult to do because we already know Meghan wanted to find a rich Englishman, and the rest, as they say, is history. Except the truth is, Meghan is not her character Rachel Zane from that show. Harry fell for a delusion, a fantasy. When they were staying in Tyler Perry's home, Harry told a friend that Meghan was no longer the lovely, kind person he married. Instead, she had changed totally. She had the ring on her finger, and so she could finally show her true colors. So what is it? Has she hypnotized him somehow, cast a spell on him? We know that she's pretty good with the mind games with him all the time. She tells him that nobody wants him, that nobody really loves him, his family took him for granted. She's the only one who really understands him. She has complete control over him. Just look at the way that he can't walk anywhere without having her hand on his arm or his back, and he reacts the same way every single time. Harry has been ostracized by the royal family. What effect has that had on his behavior? Meghan has successfully alienated him from his friends, his family, and she was very successful in it. She's all he has left at this point, so he turned to her, and she keeps on controlling him. At this point, Harry is completely alone. He has nobody who really is there for him. At this moment, at least, he's powerless to really fight back, because there's nowhere he can turn. He completely burned bridges with his family, so that means he can't just go back home, and thanks to Meghan, he no longer has any support mechanism, the kind you have from old friends who have been with you through thick and thin, the ones he used to love and used to spend a lot of time with before Meghan entered his life. There are also rumors that Marcus Anderson could even be living with Meghan, and Harry's living somewhere else. But how are they making money? There are no job offers coming in, they've got no prospects. Just some puff pieces put out to try to keep Meghan's name in the media. But bizarrely, in spite of everything that has happened over the past 6 or 7 years, Harry's still there. Now, when he's with Meghan, of course, he's the puppet, but sometimes he has a chance to escape, and there are flashes of who he used to be. According to Ingrid Seward, editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine, it was Princess Diana who said, "William is very sensitive. Harry is the artistic and lively one who could cope with anything." And I would say that Diana was responsible for some of Harry's jealous feelings towards William. She used to refer to Harry as Good King Harry because she thought that he would probably be better at the role in the future than William would. Well, okay, maybe Diana was right in one way, not in her choice of king, of course, but because he could cope with anything, Harry is going to eventually escape this mess he's in. He won't be unscathed, he'll be damaged, but I think he can eventually grow from it. But still, he's got a long way to go, and the first step is he has got to get out of that relationship. Until that happens, all we can really do is just wait and watch. If after 7 months WME hasn't been able to find anything to restore Meghan's fortunes, now she is without a successful future. But on the other hand, maybe she's going to figure something out. We are seeing some very sick, manipulative patterns of behavior against the monarchy perpetuated by Meghan, and unfortunately we see Harry out of his league in being the object of manipulation, mostly because he was always sheltered, he was protected by his family and the palace. Maybe he never learned about evil, manipulative people like Meghan, who are always on the hunt for their next victim. Someday Harry has to grow up. So either he's going to lean into the wisdom of his well-chosen before Meghan friends and the tough love that his family is going to offer him because they really care about him, they care about his future, or he'll never man up. He will never be true to himself. It's impossible not to notice that when Harry is not around Meghan, he looks much happier, he looks free again. And it's time to get off this ne'er-do-well path he has been led to take, and it's time to go back and right the wrongs. It is Harry who owes the apology to his family, and especially to the memory of his beloved grandmother and grandfather, and then he needs to apologize to his loyal subjects that once he loved to serve. As they grow up, most people are pretty young and dumb and make many mistakes. I once even heard a story about a judge who told her prospective jurors to announce young and dumb because apparently the lawyers were stalling during the selection process. The judge had no time to hear all the long stories the lawyers were trying to get out because it slowed down her judicial timetable. She wanted to get to the business of actually prosecuting the carjacking perpetrators. So Harry maybe can get a young and dumb pass, but I don't know, he's just not that young. Harry needs to apologize, he needs to repent, and he needs to start thinking with that brain in his ginger head rather than the one between his legs. It's going to be a tough road ahead for Harry, it's not going to be easy. But I think with consistent hard work and also honesty, maybe he could get back into the good graces of his family. And you, what do you think about Harry? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you preferred our video tonight, don't be afraid to like and share with anybody else who would enjoy it anytime you want. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.